And welcome to the Martin Luther King edition day of LTN. Thanks for tuning in. And there's nobody here at the station but us Mises. That's it. Steven's here, Gary's here, I'm here, and that's it.
The door don't even open.
the gate to get into the parking lot doesn't work. And because the guy that takes care of that stuff he's off today. There you go. Trying to get squared away. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, and your particular football team, the playoffs, won. Mine didn't, and that's all right, I guess. Pittsburgh Steelers didn't make it. A lesson in be in the moment. Those boys were thinking about playing New England and got whooped. They should have brought me in to give a motivational speech about living in the moment. Be in the moment. Mindfulness. And they did not practice mindfulness. They were up there playing New England. No, you were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who beat you at home. Shame on you. And yeah, but it's only a game.
For our affiliates that are north of us, you are from the Pittsburgh area. A lot of people don't know that.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. Born and raised there, and it was wonderful. I love the city. I love that place. It was a great place to grow up, and it was the best for me. Back then, today in modern society, we're talking about diversity and multiculturalism. I had to laugh when I went to the university, when I first got introduced to the university, people were talking about that. And I said, why are they all worked up about this? I grew up in an environment that was multi-ethnic, multicultural. My parents were immigrants. Most of the people in the neighborhood, their parents were immigrants. Blue collar, that's all I knew. And I had to laugh. And then they made it an intellectual exercise at the university doing studies on it. I thought, good, that's good. I lived it. Thank you. It was wonderful having all of that exposure to different points of view, and it was great. I enjoyed it.
Your parents were both immigrants, right?
Both of them. One from England, one from Poland. Yeah. The people next door to us were Italian on one side. On the other side, they were German. 2 doors down, they were Irish, and German, Irish families, Italian families, African Americans in the neighborhood. It was something. It was amazing. Didn't think twice about it. Didn't know any about it. It was great. Didn't realize it because it exposed us to so many different ideas about daily life. Different countries have different, everybody has their own little idiosyncratic ways of living. And the food, lest we forget, being introduced to all these different foods. And my dad, God bless him, just could speak 4 and 5 languages fluently. Was a blue-collar worker, worked on the platforms of trucks and trains, but was intellectually curious. Took us everywhere, showed us museums, took us to all these different churches where architecture. He was and never had a car. We did it by streetcar.
Amazing.
My mom and dad never drove. It was done by streetcar. We take the streetcar. It didn't stop us. It was amazing. I didn't intend to talk about that, but I just.
But I think that radiates with a lot of people now.
It does resonate. It does, Gary. We all want to live in our own little silos, right?
Okay.
And no, I want to live in an open field where I can see and get connected to everything, if you follow my metaphor. And it makes a difference in how we approach, in the values that we have, and how we approach day-to-day life, and how we see the world. And it has an effect on our health, wellness, and well-being. I think it's extremely unhealthy to be insulated and cut off. We see that with the elderly.
Yes.
You just recently, you know that, unfortunately, from firsthand experience. And it's devastating. And you cut people off from one another, and it breeds nothing but depression and ignorance and all the wrong things, in my opinion. And you have to stay open-minded and willingness to hear. You don't have to agree with everybody.
I have a friend who suffers from depression, anxiety, and his goal every day is to meet someone new.
That's good. That's a great goal. Boy, that's something. That's really cool.
That keeps him from sitting in the house and being upset, being, disturbed, I guess, or depressed or whatever. But his goal every day is to meet someone new.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It never dawned on me to do that. But wellness and well-being are very much a part and connected to health. And these three, they're three different concepts. Sometimes they're used interchangeably. They're not the same. They're all three different. And I've talked about that on the show in the past. Nevertheless, we're glad to be here with you on Martin Luther King Day. And here's how you can get connected to us.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255. Or anywhere in the country at 813-636-8255. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition or on Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition. And if you want Dr. Garko's personal email, it's drgarko, one word, at letstalknutrition.com. The show gets played later on in the day.
Yes.
In some affiliates and some markets. If they still reach out through us on Facebook, we actually get back to it's us getting back to them. It's not some service. It's either you or I.
Not an intern.
No. So if you reach out through us on Facebook or even through your email, later in the day, we still get back to you.
There's a study that's trending here that I think is important to report on. My guest today will be Dominique Ostrander. I'll get her take on it. It was an experiment. It was an experimental study, legitimate classical experiment using mice. But oftentimes the data and the findings from those kinds of experiments can extrapolate. That's usually a first stage in trying to understand some phenomenon. Then they translate it over into humans and do a human study, or it could be just an observational study, and then they'll do quasi-experimental study with humans, whatever. But this was with mice. And it's yet another consequence of fast food. And it's interesting because they connect it to the immune system. The opposite of fast food is slow food. You laugh, it's true, right? You want to eat slow food while you're living at a frenetic rate, going crazy. Eat slow food. I'll explain. Yeah, fast food versus slow food. This study it really caught my attention. Made me think a little bit. I might do the same for you. Yet another consequence of being in the fast lane for that food.
At Country Life Vitamins, we've been helping people.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day, giving you immune, energy, and stress support and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
The Martin Luther King edition day of Let's Talk Nutrition. We are live in studio. I heard a few voices out in the hall. Parking lot is virtually empty, but I'm happy to be here. I like working on these days. When, we're here. We show up. Unlike the Steelers. They didn't show up yesterday. Keep going back to that. Made me mad. Dominique Ostrander is my guest. I got it right for a change. I keep wanting to connect her to her former name, but I got it right today. And I'm going to bring her on right away. Then I want to include her in my reporting on this new study because it has great implications for your immune system and the food that you eat. Dominique, I haven't spoken with you for 2018, but Happy New Year. It's great to have you on. I hope you're doing well.
Happy New Year to you. Yes, I am. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Did you go to the Italian Alps for Christmas?
Well, sure. Yes, the Italian Alps for Christmas and then the French Riviera for New Year's. It was lovely.
What? I didn't make it out of the yard.
Right. Yeah, we didn't either, actually.
Matter of fact, that would be a nice agenda. There you go. Spend Christmas in the Italian Alps and New Year's on the French Riviera.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that on my things to do.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list.
I don't like that metaphor. Do you like it?
No.
Is that kick the bucket business? Is that what that means? Your bucket list before you kick
exactly
before you kick the. I don't like that metaphor. I never did, and I know they made a movie about it, which was dreadful.
I liked the movie. I thought it.
The movie was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was very uplifting and made me want to be a better person. Because of Jack, Nicholas's being so miserable. Nicholson being so miserable.
I guess in that regard, I just don't like the metaphor.
There were so many themes in that movie, actually, because Jack Nicholson was very wealthy, and it didn't buy him any happiness.
No, it doesn't.
Right? It didn't prove to have any positive consequences. He was sick. He was dying. His familial relationships were in turmoil. So his money definitely didn't buy happiness. And then Morgan Freeman's character was sort of a guy who worked hard his whole life, married, church-going, seemingly did all the right things, had great familial relationships, and, stuff still happened. So it was interesting metaphors thematically.
One of the things I thought was very interesting about the movie is Morgan Freeman's on his list was kiss the most beautiful woman in the world. Or girl. Mm-hmm. He said kiss the most beautiful girl in the world, actually, is what I think that's how it was written. And Jack just didn't get it. He didn't understand what he was talking about. And
he didn't understand why that would be an important goal.
Well,
I would settle for hello.
Right.
Right now I would take from the most beautiful woman in the world. If she just said hi to me, I would be thrilled. Never mind the kiss. If she kissed me, I'd probably have a heart attack.
Well, that's funny because that's basically what it came down to. Is he got to meet his granddaughter for the first time.
There you go.
And his granddaughter gave him a kiss. Hello.
Thank you.
And it kind of just it sunk in what he was talking about. So
I got it.
See, now I'm getting all teary-eyed because I'm thinking about the movie and
I'm sorry.
Such a sap.
A severe left turn. I apologize.
So I'll reevaluate my critique of the film. It was not that bad then. Okay.
Right.
Fast food. Certainly, you and I have talked about it on numerous occasions on the show, Dominique. There's a study coming out of the University of Bonn. It could easily come over the transom and not be noticed, but it caught my eye when it said immune system more aggressive in the long term. But it was the first two words of the headline that really got me. The fast food makes the immune system more aggressive in the long term. So it was an experiment with mice. And what they did in this experiment, they had a group of mice, and they fed them, this one group, the so-called Western diet. High fat, high calorie, low fiber diet, high sugar, high fat, high sugar, low fiber diet. What happened with that group in the experiment, without getting into the design of the experiment, that group developed an aggressive inflammatory response throughout the body, as if they were suffering from a bacterial infection. Mm-hmm. It was systemic. Mm-hmm. Systemic. And here's a quote from Dr. Annette Christ, postdoctoral fellow in the Institute of Innate Immunity of the University of Bonn. She said, quote, "The unhealthy diet led to an unexpected increase in the number of certain immune cells in the blood of the mice, especially granulocytes and monocytes. This was an indication for an involvement of immune cell progenitors in the bone marrow," close quote. Translation, They were burning up with inflammation, is what happened from eating that diet. And people often ask me, well, I understand it causes heart disease, but, no big deal. It does more than that. It leads to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and it creates an environment. And by the way, it leads to cancer too. Why? And generally speaking, because of that inflammation, which sets the stage, the match that lights the fire.
Battling sinus, bronchial disorders, allergies.
The perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace, for healthy sleep naturally.
Nutrition is the first principle of health. I've been saying that for nearly a long time. Ever since I've been producing and hosting this show, but I believed that for a lot longer than that.
A couple of minutes, as the young folks would say.
A couple of minutes. And that becomes evident in this new study. I just sort of gave you a preview. It was an experiment with mice. They fed them a Western diet, this one group of mice in the experiment. It was high in fat, high in sugar, low in fiber. What happened was it triggered a robust, aggressive, systemic inflammatory response. In other words, throughout the body of these mice. They left them on that diet for a while, and then they put them back on their regular chow, their typical cereal diet, for 4 weeks. What happened? The acute inflammation disappeared. But there's more. Something else happened. What did not disappear was the genetic reprogramming of the immune cells and their precursors. Even after 4 weeks being back on their regular cereal type of diet, many of the genes that got switched on during the fast food stage stayed on. Now, I can't tell you the gravity of that, the implications of that. Genomic studies with humans supports that finding. My guest is Dominique Ostrander, educated for Jar of Formulas. Dominique, welcome back. What we're talking about here is the innate immune system. In other words, it has a memory, and it remembers after an infection, the body's defenses remain in this sort of hypervigilant state so that they can respond more quickly to a new attack by the invader, typically bacteria. But that same kind of thing happens when eating fast food for prolonged periods of time. What do you make of that?
Well, it makes me think of something that we're going to talk about today called advanced glycation end products.
Wonderful. I'm glad. Oh, that's great. Yeah, AGEs, yeah.
AGEs. And so over the past two decades or a little bit more, there's been increasing evidence supporting the contribution from food-derived advanced glycation end products and its oxidative and the increased oxidative stress and inflammation processes, all that are playing a major role in chronic diseases, including immune health.
The pardon me. The director of the Institute for Innate Immunity at the University of Bonn said, quote, after an infection, the body's defenses remain in a kind of alarm state so that they can respond more quickly to new attack. Experts call this innate immune training. In the mice in the, close quote, in the mice in the study, that process was not triggered by bacterium. It was triggered by unhealthy diet or food, Dominique. And it's, I kept thinking about it, and I said, my God, the implications of that. So even though you get off the fast food, the genes, I won't get into how the proteins unwind and unravel. I won't get into all that. But suffice it to say that that diet, all of which promotes disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, go down the list. That's why I keep saying nutrition is the first principle of health. I find this so intriguing that people just dismiss. They think, well, if I eat fast food, I'll get fat. More than that's going to happen, right?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
You alluded to advanced glycation end products, which can be a consequence of eating that diet, that so-called Western diet. Go ahead and explain what that means.
So an advanced glycation end product, or AGEs, which is their abbreviation, are proteins or lipids that become glycated after exposure to sugars. So, for example, AGEs are prevalent in diabetic vasculature. It contributes to the development of atherosclerosis. So AGEs over time have a very detrimental effect on our blood vessels, thereby affecting our circulation, which is why diabetics often have a terrible time with circulation problems. It's vessel damage. Part of that process, so to speak, is that AGEs block nitric oxide activity in the endothelium, causing reactive oxygen species. And we heard that term all the time in our industry. But for those people that are listening, ROS is the result of intense oxidative damage. And from our food supply, from the way we live environmentally, even when we talk about our eye product today, the sun causing oxidative damage and damage in the vasculature in the eye, for many reasons, including our diets, all contributing together, resulting in AGEs. And so it's important that we do the things that we can in terms of our diet, lifestyles, that prevent the formation of AGEs.
Okay. It turns out, this is one of my favorite topics, in that it deals with, it usually gets implicated in conversations about unsuccessful aging. These AGEs, advanced glycation end products, is hooked up with the theory, the cross-linking theory of aging, where sugar molecules and protein molecules get cross-linked. And that's the last thing you want to have happen.
That's right.
And Dr. Nicholas Perricone built an entire business, if you will, on that concept over 20 years ago in the realm of health and beauty. He's an MD and has done very well. And he's written a number of good books. I like him. He's been on my show. He's very smart, very insightful. And he believes that you handle this from the inside out. We come back, we'll get Dominique to break this down even more. It's appropriately, the acronym AGE, ages. They certainly do. These advanced glycation end products, bad news. And she was right on the money in the way she described it. Here's how you can get connected.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255 or download our LTN app. You can get it on Apple or IO.
There you go. Social media, on social media, we're connected to all of it. We love doing that. We come back. It's very important. I'll go back to this. And given this study and others like it, I can see the implications of these AGEs leading the immune system on or turning it off.
Don't be stressed out or anxious. Take Hempenol.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
There are scores of theories of aging. One of them is the cross-linking theory, where in a word, they talk about how sugar molecules link to proteins. And when that happens, you end up with oxidation, free radicals being created. The proteins get, in a word, deconstructed. And when you and that we're talking about DNA now, and things start to and these proteins in the DNA start to unravel, and that's not good. Hence, it accelerates aging, the wrinkles, the gray hair, the disease processes, and so on, connected to this process. And I loosely described it. It's more complicated than that, but as much time as we have on the show, we don't have enough time to get into that kind of detail. My guest is Dominique Ostrander. She wanted to talk about advanced glycation end products. What did you have on your mind in talking about that? Is there something from Jaro that would help?
Well, as far as we're talking about it in terms of macular protective factors, which is our new eye product.
Oh, okay. So, right, because
right,
it will destroy the eye. The eyes are very sensitive to these AGEs.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No worries. So our new macular protective factors has 20 milligrams of lutein, 10 milligrams of mesozeaxanthin, 4 milligrams of astaxanthin. And so having the high levels of carotenoids will prevent AGEs in the eye. It's very important. It's very important. Most people don't think about it. Most people aren't thinking about their eyes like this in terms of the aging, the circulatory process behind the eyes. We know when our eyes hurt. We know when they get tired. We know when they get fatigued. But we're not really thinking about prophylaxis in terms of how can we protect our eyes, especially if we're consuming really crappy diets.
What's the exact? It's a new product?
It is. It's called Macular Protective Factors, and it's carotenoids for macular health and blue light protection. And that's probably the most important part of this, is that we're confronted with blue light all the time now. And having that filter.
What do you mean? Explain what you mean by blue light.
So blue light is anything that's coming from our tablets, our phones, our computers, all of these new and wonderful gadgets that we can't live without. It's affecting our macula. And the more that our macula are endowed with these carotenoids that are naturally found in the macula, the more we're able to filter this blue light. And having something like a mesozeaxanthin, for example, is actually responsible for that filtering of blue light, LED light.
I weld on the weekends, Doc. I'm trying to build a monster truck because I'm a knucklehead.
Right.
And would this help after I get done welding? Because my eyes don't adjust back from taking the...
You wear your helmet, right?
Yes.
You wear the shield.
Right, but even so, that the light that's coming off of your, I don't know what that's called.
It's a shield.
Welder.
It's a shield.
Torch, yeah.
Yeah, but I would think that would definitely offer you some protection as far as your eyes and what and even though you're behind a shield, it's sort of like even though we're wearing sunglasses when we're out in the sun, we're not protecting our eyes fully.
So
again, it goes back to what you say, protecting from the inside out.
You had a product called Vision Optimizer.
Correct.
What's the difference? Which I think is a great product. What's the difference between the Vision Optimizer and was it Macula something or other?
Macular Protective Factors.
Yeah, I want to say Dracula. That's how I'm going to remember it. Macula Protective Factors. What's the difference between those two products?
So while our Vision has a complete blend, remember we used to talk about it on the air that our Vision is a tremendous antioxidant blend. But as far as having actual the mesozeaxanthin, the 10 milligrams of the mesozeaxanthin is what's setting it apart.
Oh.
I think that's the biggest difference. So like our Vision has lutein and astaxanthin, but it doesn't have the mesozeaxanthin. And now,
I don't know what that is. I honestly I don't. What's mesozeaxanthin?
So mesozeaxanthin is one of the carotenoids that are found in our macula, and it's one of the dominant carotenoids that's at the epicenter, mid-periphery. Now we're getting into the science, and the periphery of the macula. So that's what's responsible for filtering the blue light and the LED light that our eyes are consistently confronted with now because of our tablets, because of everything that we're working on.
Do you
so
think
having this particular carotenoid is important?
Okay, I have two questions. One, do you think people who are exposed to their laptop, to their phones, to all these screens that are emanating this blue light, are they at special risk? And do you have to be exposed to blue light for this product to be meritorious enough to take?
Definitely not. Definitely not. That's a very good question, actually. Like, would this benefit me? What if you're a person who never uses their phone or computer, or you don't own a tablet or something like that? So, yes, absolutely. Because, again, in our daily life, we're still confronted. We're still out and about and in the world. And so the concentration of the carotenoids in our macula is important. And the more we can supplement with these carotenoids, the better our macula will be protected, especially if you're not consuming a very good diet, if you're not living a healthier lifestyle. All these things are going to affect the concentration of those carotenoids in the macula as well as the vasculature in the eye.
Macula
contributing.
I'm sorry. We're headed into...
No, and it all contributes to our eye health.
Macula protective factors. Gary just had it up on the screen. We'll talk more about that. We come back, we'll continue this conversation. I'll tell you more about that theory of aging, cross-linking of theory of aging that implicates AGEs, advanced glycation end products, the formation of free radicals that end up doing the damage. You have redox reactions here, where, losing electrons, gaining electrons, it's all in chemistry. It's all about the electrons, man. That's where the action is. And oxidation is the loss of electrons. All right? So we'll get into it. Free radicals. That's why you need anti-inflammatory compounds in your diet. Hence the plant-based foods, for example, that are rich in antioxidant. Oxidation, antioxidant. Get it? Antioxidation really is what they're saying. All on Let's Talk Nutrition, where aging successfully is a priority. Advanced Glycation End Products, AGEs. Easy to remember. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Welcome to the show if you just tuned in. My guest today is Dominique Ostrander, talking about a very important topic, your eye health and how oxidative damage happens to the eyes. Macular, you have macular degeneration. If Gary can find maybe an image, a schematic of the eye, we'll show you the macula and what we're talking about here if you are watching the show. And Jarrow Formulas is always got some breaking news. They have a new product. They have a terrific product called Vision Optimizer, and now they have one that's been formulated specifically for the macula and to try to counter the free radical damage done to the macula due to blue light exposure. And we'll have Dominique explain that even in greater detail. And this is an important. This theme can get connected even yet to a bigger theme, that is aging and the theory of aging. And there are any number of theories of aging that are out there. The free radical theory of aging, the cross-linking theory, which gets into these advanced glycation end products, and so on. Yeah, it's not just isolated to the eye. You know, the damage that happens to arteries and the damage that happens to our eyes usually they forecast even greater problems in the body. It's often said the health of you are only as healthy and you will only live as long as your arteries are healthy. There's a lot of truth to that. The eyes are also a place in the body, a piece of anatomy, if you will, that can forecast problems. Right? They're so sensitive, and they're picking up the signals, if you will, of advanced aging and inflammation and free radical damage. And so I'm looking for the macula on that schematic. We'll find another one here. It's hard to see. And so the product like this is sort of, you don't have to have difficulty with your eyes to take it, okay? And it's called Macula Protective Factors. And we'll get Dominique to explain exactly what are the raw materials for this product, who can take it, how might you benefit, and so on and so forth. Here's how you can connect.
877-897-8255, 877-897-8255. And Linda from Spring Hill asks, is this good for diabetics?
The answer is absolutely, unequivocally, no doubt about it, because diabetes can lead to cardiovascular disease, vision, eye damage. It goes. Diabetes is insidious in that regard. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Ostrander?
Absolutely. Unequivocally, I agree. And absolutely, emphatically, the answer to her question is yes. Especially because here's what's the really bad news, and I'm sorry to say this, but once AGEs are formed, they're nearly irreversible.
What about somebody that's already had, where they go in and
cataracts?
The cataracts, and they've already had the surgery.
It's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great question. And because what happens is in the cataract surgery, so you're having the lens on the eye replaced. So oftentimes the first signs for people with cataracts is sort of a cloudiness. Mm-hmm. And that's because their eye was so busy filtering lots of light and sun usually. Cataracts, especially in Florida, are excessively common, unfortunately, because so many people don't wear sunglasses and we have lots and lots of sunny days.
Yeah.
And so that filter is important.
Explain again what blue light is. For those who just tuned in.
Off of our screens. It's what's coming off of our smartphones.
Even the phones? Even the phones,
which is why they changed. I don't know if you set your phone to that nightshade. Do you do that? Does your phone Probably Gary's does.
Yeah, I go to bed
at
I go to bed at like 8 o'clock too. So
What is she talking about?
Exactly.
there's a nighttime
Exactly.
feature on most phones, and if you're not doing it, I'm going to fix your phone to do that for you.
Well,
because you
Right,
need
and
it.
that's because
His
the
phone is like
blue
6
light.
times the size of mine too. By the way,
there it looks like one of those little Motorola TVs.
A tissue box to your head.
Honest to God. I mean, if these phones get any bigger, you're going to have to stay home to answer the damn phone because it's going to be too big to carry.
And it was so funny because they were getting smaller and smaller there for a while.
Now they're
Remember
getting
that?
bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You can't make it up. With every advance comes a regression.
For sure.
So you sound excited about this product, it seems to me.
I am. I am very excited about it. I think that we're, again, Jaro Formulas is always on the cutting edge, and
It's true.
launching a product that contains the mesozeaxanthin, which is what ophthalmologists are recommending to patients now because of all of this blue light, and we're realizing that we need this extra dose of carotenoids not only to prevent AGEs, but to keep our maculas healthy, because the more endowed, the more that they have this heavy dose of carotenoids, the deeper the color in the macula, the more they're able to fight the blue light, so to speak.
Man, oh, man. Why don't they think of these things as they're inventing? Because you don't know. You know.
You don't know.
Did you fix it? Mm-hmm. So now he's got me on. What's that called? That function called?
nightshade.
Nightshade. Well, eggplants and other vegetables are called nightshade. So, all right, we'll talk about that later.
And that's interesting, actually, if you think about it. Wow, I never realized that.
Go ahead. Tell them what I was alluding to. The nightshade.
Well, the color, the pigment in the food.
Exactly. The nightshade vegetables would be good to eat for that. Some, though, will say nightshade should be avoided if you have high levels of inflammation. They tend to inspire inflammation. I don't know if that's how much science there is to support that assertion, but that's been floating around in the ether for a long time. When did this product come onto the market?
Recently, maybe not even maybe a month.
So this is breaking news.
This is breaking news.
Yeah, so this is a launch. It's called Macula Protective Factors, Plant Oils, EFAs. Well, there's a hint. What are the raw materials? What constitutes the ingredients here?
So, for example, we have 20 milligrams of lutein in the Macular Protective Factors, where in our Vision Optimizer, we have 10 milligrams. Granted, that's in three capsules. So it's a much heavier dose. We have 10 milligrams of the mesozeaxanthin, and we also have 4 milligrams of astaxanthin, and all of which protect, especially the lutein and the zeaxanthin, are protecting the retina because they absorb the UV radiation and they neutralize the free radicals.
Going through radiation, when you have head and neck cancer of some sort, radiation is devastating. And it's been known to damage, you have to be very careful of the eyes. Of course, they target the rays, but nevertheless, yeah. I'm glad you brought this up. I didn't know about the product. That's why you're on the show. Macula MPFs, Macula Protective Factors, plant oils. Is that what it is? I mean, well, when we come back, you'll tell us, okay?
Okay.
You have essential fatty acids in this product as well. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's just lutein, mesozeaxanthin, and astaxanthin.
Put that back up. What's Gary's showing something from Jaro? It says Macula Protective Factors, plant oils, EFAs. What's that?
I don't know. Have to send me.
It has lutein, the Zaxxon.
Okay, when we come back, we'll clear it up. We'll see.
Feeling tired after your meal?
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilo Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Well, a question that is often asked, can we moderate the effects of aging? Can we moderate the rate of aging? There is now an accumulation of evidence over many decades, experimental observational, clinical evidence, studies of different kinds, that would suggest yes to both those questions. The problem comes with charlatans who exploit some of the evidence. And if you go onto the internet, you will find ridiculous things that are being sold and suggested and recommended to slow the aging process or the effects. Much of that stuff, in quotes, doesn't have any clinical trial support or any kind of science, theoretical or empirical in nature, to support their use. Now, that being said, I can tell you without any equivocation, without one scintilla of doubt in my mind, what you eat and the way you live are intimately and inextricably connected to your rate of aging and the effects of it, and then the formation of disease. There is no doubt in my mind. And food is not just food. Food has consequences. And one consequence is that it will accelerate aging. So will smoking in excess, drinking in excess, stress in excess, not getting proper sleep and rest. When you put all of that together, you know, some people may have a chronological age of 40, but biologically and functionally they're 60 or 70. And then conversely, somebody could be 60 or 70 and be biologically 40. My guest is Dominique Ostrander, educator for Jarrow Formulas. One telltale sign and one giveaway that aging is in play is the damage done to the eyes. They're very sensitive. The tissues in the eyes are very sensitive to free radical damage. And cross-linking, where proteins and sugars and lipids get linked, and damage to the DNA is done from free radicals, is one consequence of a diet that is high in fat, high in sugar, high in calories, and less dominated with plants. Welcome back, Dominique. This product can be taken prophylactically. It can be taken after the fact, being diagnosed with eye issues, macular degeneration, and so on and so forth, I would assume.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. You know, I hate to take this turn, but you were alluding to it in terms of things show up, you know, a lot of times different health issues. There is oftentimes people are diagnosed, that they go to the eye doctor and the doctor says, wow, have you been checked for diabetes? Because when they're looking in your eye, they can see the vascular changes, and then a person finds out that they have diabetes. Mm. So this happens too. Oftentimes men will suffer from erectile dysfunction for a sign of atherosclerosis. So it's important that you pay attention to all these little things. At the same time, we're going to hopefully try and prevent them. And so macular protective factors from Jarrow supports and protects, actually, against the effects of advanced glycation end products. Mm-hmm. So lately, I was in a store, and the question was, so what is it exactly? And just to go over really quickly so people understand what's happening, glycation is a natural process in which sugar in your bloodstream attaches to proteins, and it forms harmful new molecules, which are called AGEs. So obviously, excess sugar in our body is not good. Things that are turning to sugar, excess carbohydrates, not a good idea. And especially when we know diabetics, for example, already have a problem with excess sugar, especially if they're type 2, where that's going to be even that much more detrimental, which is their vasculature is already being damaged because their body's not able to utilize the excess sugar. So it's important, again, when you think of this in the big picture, put it all together and say, okay, so this is how I've been living, because you've got to be honest. And all of the things that we're doing on a daily basis, we're not eating right, maybe you're not even exercising, things that help your body process. Again, you were talking about just a minute ago about things that prevent aging. Can we do anything that help? We know for sure regular exercise helps ward off some aging processes that happen, which is why it's so important, not only dietary-wise, but to implement exercise. So supplements have that advantage too. We know that from things that create new mitochondria, like PQQ, things that support mitochondrial function, shilajit, nicotinamide riboside. So all these things, we're talking about anti-aging, how can we age better?
This is where I think dietary supplementation plays a critical... My general approach to this is this. Give you a hint how I go about this. Inflammation is the overarching concept. When you look at all the different theories of aging, somewhere in that theory or hypothesis, inflammation enters into the process and free radicals. And if you can manage the inflammation and the formation of free radicals and moderate their effects, you do yourself a great service. Come back, I'll unpack more of that thought. Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition 2018 edition and the Martin Luther King Day edition as well. We're live, obviously, in studio, and great to be here. Dominique Ostrander is my guest today, and we're talking about a new product from Jarrow Formulas, but within the context of the health issue of aging, no less. And accelerated aging. Aging can be accelerated by free radicals. Free radicals can be caused in any number of ways, from your diet to smoking to alcohol to chemicals in the environment that don't belong inside your body. Their exposure to the sun, blue light is yet another. And Gary was telling me off air
that if you look at this. We use high-definition cameras here. You can see the blue tint reflect off of you when you're in the camera.
You can see that on the screen?
Yeah. If you get really close, you can see it off the screen. And I actually have to dial down the blue when we broadcast. That's why it's like you'll see me trying to adjust stuff throughout the screen, and that's why there's a little bit of a tint to you every once in a while.
Because so blue light is real.
Yeah, if you close your computer right now, see the difference in the picture?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Look at that. You're absolutely right. Wow. Let's go to Tampa, Florida. Del, welcome to the show. Happy New Year 2018, man.
And to you, too. Very productive year. I've been wondering about, I take bilberry to try and fight the blue light problem, and I'm wondering how that works in with macular protective factors. Would you continue taking bilberry and that, or does that supersede, does that supersede the need for the bilberry?
No, I'm a big fan of bilberry, but I'll comment in a minute, but I'm going to give Dominique a chance to respond. Dominique, could you respond to Del?
Sure, absolutely. So bilberry, I would definitely keep taking, and there's other benefits of bilberry. But as far as having the specific carotenoids that are saturated in the macula, I think that's very important. And macular protective factors has the mesozeaxanthin, and again, the mesozeaxanthin is what's responsible for filtering that blue light. Lutein and the zeaxanthin completely absorb the UV radiation, neutralizing free radicals. So again, you can take the bilberry, but add the macular protective factors.
Does that answer Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Del. It's nice to hear your voice, man. He's a regular listener. He's dialed in. He's got a great radio voice. I always say that when he comes on.
He does. He definitely does. He's got that Barry White thing happening.
Yeah, I need a baby. So I remember Barry White, baby. So just for those who tuned in, go over those ingredients slowly again, and what's in the product and why it was formulated in that way.
Okay, so our new macular protective factors from Jarrow has 20 milligrams of lutein, 10 milligrams of mesozeaxanthin, and 4 milligrams of astaxanthin. The other ingredients, when you're talking about essential fatty acids, the sunflower lecithin, the avocado oil, and the sunflower oil. So that's probably where you're talking about the essential fatty acids.
Yeah.
Those are other ingredients. Clearly not the main feature of this product. But it's an addition, something that Jarrow is using in the capsule, in the gel cap rather. And again, they're in significant amounts that will help saturate that macula with those very important protective factors. Those carotenoids are what's in the macula. And so supplementing with those exact carotenoids is important, very important.
I am hesitating. I don't know if I want to approach it this way. We keep saying oxidation. We keep saying free radicals, and we're connecting those concepts to different theories, like the cross-linking theory of aging. Let me just say this: so you know what's going on behind the curtain, if you will. This usually happens in chemistry class. You have what's called redox, R-E-D-O-X. It's it's a combination of words, reduction and oxidation, and they put those together, redox. A oxidation reduction is a type of chemical reaction that involves the transfer of electrons between molecules, two species. An oxidation reduction reaction is any chemical reaction in which the oxidation number of one molecule, atom, or ion changes by gaining or losing an electron. It turns out that these redox reactions are vital to basic functions. Photosynthesis wouldn't happen without redox reactions. Respiration wouldn't happen. Corrosion, the rusting of iron, is a redox reaction, okay? The apple turning brown when you cut it and let it sit on the counter for a minute or two, turning brown, is a redox reaction. It's all over the place. The last thing you want to have happen, metaphorically speaking, is to start rusting on the inside, if you will. And that metaphor is often used to talk about it in this way. So, and usually these reactions occur, the oxidation and the reduction occur together. And I could get into it even more, but it's the gaining and losing of electrons, and that's where all the action happens. And when a molecule or an atom loses an electron, it's going to start scavenging. It's going to start looking. They like to be in pairs, the way nature is, and they start to scavenge and look, and they rob electrons from other molecules, and then that creates molecular mayhem in the body. Smoking, drinking, eating crappy food, not enough sleep and rest, chemicals from the environment, disease processes, all can inspire the formation of these free radicals, these radical oxygen species. That's why the body can make antioxidants, but you need to have them in your diet from the plants. Eating meat doesn't do it. And eating meat with your meat is even worse. I'm just saying. So you follow my drift here. And then these dietary supplements like that we're talking about from Jaro today go a long way in introducing these antioxidants, these antioxidation compounds into your body. It's all good. We'll come back with the LTN Health question of the day.
Women who are pregnant or planning to have a child have specific nutritional needs. Maintaining optimal nutritional intake is important for mother and baby. Body Vigor's Preferred Prenatal can help mother and baby receive the appropriate building blocks for growth, development, and healthy function. The Preferred Prenatal formula provides essential vitamins and minerals, along with added support ingredients such as folic acid and DHA. Preferred Prenatal also incorporates a bonus herbal blend to help the mom-to-be with the uncomfortable side effects of pregnancy, like nausea, vomiting, mood swings, and uterine health. Support a healthy pregnancy for you and your baby with Preferred Prenatal, exclusively on Amazon.com.
are back from the break, and here's the LTN health question of the day. Earlier, I was reporting on a study. I think it's intriguing, and it deals with fast food and your immune system. And what they found was that the consumption of this unhealthy Western diet, high in fat, high in sugar, low in fiber, for example. In other words, not very well whole food, plant-based diet, not at all, tends to inspire an aggressive immune response that causes systemic inflammation throughout the body, hence systemic. It was as if the mice in the experiment had been exposed to some bacterium. They weren't. They were just fed 4 weeks of that lousy diet. Then they took them off the diet and put them on their regular chow. And what they found was that the inflammation reduced. Here's the question: true or false? So the inflammation disappeared. Is this statement true or false? What did not disappear was the genetic reprogramming of the immune cells and their precursors. In other words, what didn't disappear, true or false, was the ability that the cells were sitting there waiting to express. They were triggered and stayed triggered to express inflammation. Is that statement true or false? So when they changed the diet, the inflammation went down. But is it true or false that even though they changed the diet, the cells had been reprogrammed to be pro-inflammatory? Is that true or false?
You can reach us at 877-897-8255, 877-897-8255, or anywhere in the world at 813-636-8255.
So in other words, true or false, fast food will program your immune cells to be ready to express or to be pro-inflammatory, to create this pro-inflammatory environment in your body, even after you quit eating the fast food. Dominique, welcome back. So this product, it's different than the Vision Optimizer. If somebody's taking Vision Optimizer, what now then? What should they do?
In the macular protective factors.
They what?
They can add it in.
Oh, they can. It would not be. It would not. It wouldn't be too redundant then.
I don't think so. No, because the Vision Optimizer has so many other things in it. And then the Vision Optimizer is also 3 capsules a day, so they could potentially cut down to 1 or 2 capsules and then add the macular protective factors. It might be actually a really good combo because the MPF is 1 soft gel per day.
What does MPF mean?
Macular protective factors.
Okay.
It's easier than saying the whole name.
I know. So let's go to Newport Richie. Robert lives there. Happy New Year, Robert, 2018. It was my statement about eating a fast food diet. Even after you quit eating that diet, you still have programmed the immune cells and their precursors to express for inflammation. Is that true or false?
Wow, you said it again. You must have written it down.
I did.
Very good. That is very true.
It is very true, Robert. Happy New Year. Congratulations on winning a $25 supplement gift card, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, man. Very welcome indeed. What was your what's your primary New Year's resolution, Miss Ostrander?
Are you talking to me? Oh, my gosh. It's so silly. Really? It's to do more abs.
To do more core
abdominal workout. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And what?
I have like different. So I have different New Year's resolutions. I'm not a big New Year's.
What would inspire that resolution?
Aging. Because the old, I'm very good at changing my routines and being an exercise physiologist and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I spend a lot of time running and things like that. And so, like, if I just ran, 8 or 10 miles or something, at the end of it, I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to do abs. But now I realize I'll be a better runner, actually, with better core strength. And I've kind of neglected core strength.
There's a lesson to be learned from ballet dancers or dancers, professional, jazz dancers, ballet dancers. What they learn is in dance class, their core. If you ever look at a dancer's core, their abs, they're always ripped. Everything comes in dance. Everything is from center, from the core out. That's a big clue. And that applies to everything that we do, right? So when your core is strong, everything else is enhanced. I know because you're an exercise physiologist, you have a master's degree in it. Spot training doesn't work. Doing abs doesn't make you lose weight.
Right, exactly. And it was metaphorical for different, core training. It was like sort of back to basics. It was a physical representation for many different things.
So what are you doing for your abs?
Different core exercises, honestly. There's a host of them. So different things like with medicine ball and
do you do sit-ups? Do you do crunches? Do you do leg raises, crunches, and those?
Yeah, yeah. And in the gym where they have the Bosu.
The Bosu, that ball?
Not Bosu on the floor, but there's a Bosu that's attached to like a Roman chair.
Oh, I have not seen that.
So I'm on that.
Can you watch TV? Can you watch TV in that Bosu? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Although I will tell you, yesterday there was a man, no kidding, laid out on a mat with a foam roller under his head like a pillow, watching the football game.
Did you tell him he's supposed to do that stuff at home?
He laid there for an hour. No kidding, watching football.
Well, what can I say? That's never mind.
My gym doesn't have TVs in it. I'm just saying that because...
No, he's watching on his phone.
No.
Your health is your wealth. I'll see you tomorrow.